Someone in my comments asked me to do a medical update, so here's a medical update. If you want to know how I'm doing, I'm not doing very fucking good. Okay, the way I describe it is like, the best way I can describe it is that you have the flu. There's like so much head malaise, it makes me want to jump off a cliff. And you picked up a dirty tab of acid off the New York subway, stuck it on your tongue. That's what my life feels like. I'm tripping balls constantly. Constantly. Like, my mind started slipping last September, but I've been out of my goddamn mind since last November. And it's been nonstop. I don't even remember what it's like to be in reality or see things for how they really are. It's a fucking nightmare. So, having a rough morning, and I'm pissed off because I'm sick of feeling like this. Sorry to just complain again, but fuck you, my channel. I can complain if I want to. So anyway, you know, in April we got steroids, 3 days of IV steroids, and that helped a lot. And then last month, our neurologist thought we were under the care of a different neurologist, so she didn't do any follow-up steroids. So when she finally found out that we actually weren't being taken care of by anybody, because my brother contacted her asking for a spinal tap to see if some values had gone down. She's like, oh shit, you're not being taken care of by anybody. We need to do more steroids. So we did more steroids last month. Didn't do shit, which is a little bit unfortunate. You know, because they helped a lot the first time around. Didn't do anything the second time around. And now I'm waiting to do a maintenance dose this month on the 18th in 2 weeks. And then after that maintenance dose, we can start sending in prior auths for a different medication called IVIG, which is going to get denied because I don't have enough empirical data to justify using IVIG. Encephalitis is our working diagnosis, but I do not have enough data to back up the medical necessity for using IVIG that the insurance wants. So we're really just pretending that's going to get covered. It's not going to get covered. And my doc won't even let me pay out of pocket until I do my infusion on the 18th. And if I pay out of pocket, you know, it's expensive. It's expensive medication. It's gonna be like 70 grand probably, around there. You know, my parents are willing to help. I might have to sell my car or something. But if it works, great. That'd be great, because that'd be very confirmatory of our diagnosis. And I'd just feel better. But if it doesn't work, then we have to go probably see some other neurologist and figure out what the hell's going on. If it is encephalitis, if it's not encephalitis. And you bet your ass that somebody along that chain is going to start bringing up psych again. But guess what? I've been on every fucking psychotropic, whatever, psychiatric class of medication there is. I've been on an antipsychotic. I've been on an anxiolytic, an anti-anxiety medication. I've been on... I'm about to be on an antidepressant. What else is there? Is that all of them? I mean, I wouldn't be on a stimulant. That's one I wouldn't be on. I looked it up. I've been on every single psychiatric class of psychiatric medication you can possibly be on, and I'm still beyond destroyed. So, not to mention, people don't listen to me when I say, and during this last winter, my hands went numb. Like, my whole hand went numb. When I'd close my fist like this, it would look like my fingers had no tensile strength. They would just droop down like wet noodles. But of course, no doctor cares about that. I told one doctor in Cleveland over telehealth, I told him about that. He said, I think I had some nerve damage in my hands. And he said, well, I wouldn't call it nerve damage if you didn't have a nerve conduction study. I'm like, well, is that my fucking fault not having a nerve conduction study done? Because when I was with my neurologist, local neurologist in my hometown here, because I'm staying with my fucking parents, I can't take care of myself. My life is such a disaster. I'd lose my mind living alone, so I have to stay with somebody. When I saw my neurologist here, she noticed swelling in my hands. She's having me flip my hands back and forth on my palm. And I'm moving at like 1 mile an hour. She's having me do this with my hand. I'm going like this. Okay, there's swelling in my hands, so it's obvious. She didn't order a nerve conduction study, so how is that my fault? So, you know, there's no evidence that happened. If I had psychiatric evaluation, an actual legit psychiatric evaluation when I was in the psych ward during the winter, during February, it would have been all sorts of fucked up, because they handed me a menu to choose my food, and I could not handle it. It was like overstimulating. I was like grunting and groaning, trying to figure out how to select, like, how do I even choose from this list of shit? And the nurse was like, can I help you? And I was like, I got it. Like, I circled a few things and just threw it at her. Like, I couldn't handle it. My brain was so fucked up. So, missed out on a psychiatric evaluation that would have actually shown deficits, like some, if we had done, what's it called, neuropsych testing, would have shown shit. So we missed out on nerve conduction study, neuropsych testing. My elevated intracranial pressure is bunk because they did the spinal tap sitting upright, even though I know for a fact that shit was elevated. So we missed like all the metrics to show anything was wrong. The only thing I have is elevated myelin basic protein, which every single neurologist doesn't give a rat's ass about. Doesn't mean anything to them. And it's funny, one neurologist said, myelin basic protein, how do we know if it's high? How do we know if it's too low? You just don't know. Everyone has a little bit in the spinal fluid. I'm like, bitch, isn't that at the point of the reference range? Every lab is a reference range. If I'm well above the reference range, doesn't that mean something? It's like, that's how you know it's too high. What are you talking about? Just, oh my God, dealt with so much dumb shit. Idiopathic intracranial hypertension. It's like, no, it's not my intracranial hypertension that is or isn't there because I was doing my spinal tap sitting upright. It's not idiopathic. It's not because of some unknown reason. Like, it's just like on its own. I'm not some fat woman in her childbearing years where that's very common, who has, whatever it's called, your optic nerves are bulging out. That's not me. That's not what's going on. I'm also having encephalopathy. I'm having psychosis. I lose my goddamn mind. Anyway, I'm just pissed off. I want to move on to the next medication because if I don't, if the next medication doesn't work, where are we at? And this can be months or maybe a year more. I have no idea how much longer. So hopefully that medication just works and we're right about the diagnosis and it just works. That'd be great. Otherwise, I'm going to have to fend off retards. Probably shouldn't say that. There goes I can't monetize my suffering when I say that word, probably. But I'll say it again. I have to fend off retards against claiming it's a psych problem. It's going to be a pain in my ass. And, we've already treated it somewhat. So, how are we going to find labs that really indicate anything? It's just going to be a big pain in the ass if IVIG doesn't work. So, obviously, I'm not in the best of spirits. I'm fucking miserable. Every day sucks. I cannot explain the misery. It's just terrible. Wow, that's basically it. I don't have anything positive to say, except for if we get IVIG and it works, that'll be just heaven. But that's at least another month away, almost definitely more. And every day fucking blows. So like a month is just so long. It always feels like this endless thing where like there's just hope right around the corner forever, and eventually you just kind of go, is it really right around the corner? Really? Are we almost there? Really? Or is this one of those things where we kind of don't figure out what's going on, and eventually I just get doped up and thrown in a psych ward and become a zombie until people run enough tests to figure out what's going on 3 years later, and then I write a book, best-selling novel, and then I'm rich. So I guess even that outcome pans out okay. Yeah, just not doing very great. So I'm all for like selling my car, selling my house, and paying for every single medication possible. But we're trying to be smart and cautious with our goddamn money, as if money matters when your health is in the shitter. But anyway, we're trying to, money does matter, because if IVIG doesn't work, then what else? What lies ahead that's going to need resources? Or if IVIG does work but only partially, then we have to move on to more medication. It's going to cost more money, and if we've already paid out of pocket for IVIG, insurance is less likely to cover future medication. So, just fuck me, I guess. Some people get encephalitis and they like act funny, then they have a seizure after going to the psych ward, and they dismiss them. They have a seizure, they go back to the ER, they run lab work, they find anti-NMDAR receptor antibodies in the spinal fluid, get on steroids, IVIG, plasma exchange, rituximab, etc., and then they're better within a week. I'm not saying that's how it always goes. Some people get really messed up, but just saying it would help if there was literally any fucking indication of something wrong. Or if we had done neuropsych testing when I was having psychosis, that would have been helpful. Just to show something that something was wrong. I would have had deficits all over the place. To do, or their nerve conduction study when my hands were going numb and my legs were giving out when I was walking. That would have been helpful. If the guy would have done the spinal tap while lying down, that would have been great. You know, that it's just frustrating because I have nothing, and I'm just waiting on insurance to cover IVIG once we can finally send off a prior auth after my next steroid infusion. And, you know, they're going to deny it, and then maybe we appeal it, and they're going to deny it, and then what do? You appeal again, or maybe you appeal to the state, they're going to deny it. Like, there's just no, I don't know what my neurologist thinks, like what kind of ammo we have to get this actually through insurance. I just don't think it's going to happen, so inevitably we're just going to end up paying out of pocket. It's like 70 grand at least, or around 70 grand. Maybe it could be less, but anyway, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, you know, I always be honest with you guys. I fucking hate my life, and I know my parents watch this, and I've talked to my dad. I think he's pretty well aware of how much I fucking hate my life. So it's not gonna come to any shock to anybody. I hate it, but you know, we try to stay positive most of the time. I'm just having a bad fucking morning, so I get to unload on you guys. Anyway, thanks for all the nice comments and shit. It's really nice. It does make me feel a little better, you know, because it's nice to have an outside perspective. I've been tripping balls for God, how long? You know, 9 months. I've been tripping balls for 9 months from different levels of severity, but for 9 months I've been out of my goddamn mind. I don't even remember what it's like to be normal. So I don't have any outside perspective. All I have is this. And like, you know, you can be like hopeful and shit for a certain amount of time, stay positive, meditate, whatever. But eventually I'm just gonna want to be as doped up as possible and just curl up into a ball, listen to Minecraft music for hours on end until this problem gets solved, because it's exhausting. I'm exhausted. I'm tired of pushing. The pain is unbearable, and it's like I'm pressed up against a wall while someone just throws boiling water all over my body endlessly. It's not the actual physical pain I'm feeling. I'm just saying, like, it feels like there's no escape, you know? So, wow, it's just getting real dark and heavy with shit today, huh? I mean, my brain's all there. Like, I was talking to my dad about covered calls and cash secured puts and rolling positions and shit yesterday, and it was just flying off out of my mouth like normal. So it's not like I have any cognitive deficits right now, as far as I can tell. I mean, like my brain's foggy as hell, but generally speaking, like it's me in here, I guess, and all my cognitive abilities are there. I'm just like tripping balls and have a ton of malaise. Malaise is so bad, man, it makes you want to drive a car off a cliff. It's just really, really painful. I guess I'll shut up now, because I don't know how long people want to watch someone just mope about their life. So that's just the medical update, and I want to use this as a comparison for later when I'm feeling like a boss bitch and I'm drinking a Thundercock of PBR or maybe some classier beer like Stella on a beach somewhere, and I'm tan as hell, and I've been going to the gym and I'm ripped, and I got some bitch next to me who's hot as hell. Not that she was hanging out with me, she just happens to be sitting next to me on a beach towel. Pure coincidence, don't know her name, don't know who she is. It's a random chick. But anyway, I want to use this video as a comparison because, you know, just being honest now will help me later when I'm feeling much better and we've had things sorted out and we have more clarity and stuff. And it'll just be, you know, a nice comparison to go, oh, wow, I can be really thankful for how far we've made it, and, you know, maybe learn a lesson about being pessimistic, because things usually turn out all right unless it's obvious that it's a sinking ship. Like if I have some prions disease and fucking brain dead, it's pretty obvious that you're fucked. But in my scenario, it's more like my brain's extremely irritated. It's not that I'm fucked. But sometimes it feels like that because, you know, you're tripping balls for 9 months, you're doing bad acid for 9 months. It's like that CIA operation. God damn it, I just had it in my head. You know what it's called. It's, oh my God, it's embarrassing. I can't remember it. You know, the one that I snagged up, like, prostitutes and homeless people off the street, and they just gave them acid forever because they thought maybe they could use it like as a truth serum. Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, I feel like one of those subjects where I'm stuck in a room and someone's feeding me acid, but like bad acid, nonstop for 9 months, and I'm supposed to just like kind of smile through it. And now I feel kind of bad, you know, because I'm like I'm in my parents' house, and like, you know, I'm just this black hole of suffering that just sucks joy out of every room. And I kind of want to be that way because it makes things happen. Like if you just pretend everything's okay, like people don't have the incentive to make the annoying guy in the basement go away. But at the same time, you know, I'd hate to do that to my parents just to be kind of a black hole of pain. But you know, share the load, I guess. That's why I'm doing this video. Someone asked me, share the load, just unload on you guys. And just trying to keep it fucking real, I guess. Just, you know, what's up. Yeah, like I sold all my stocks because I haven't made, YouTube is my living. And I made 3 videos over the last year. That's not enough to sustain me at all. So sold my stocks, you know, might sell my car in the future, might sell my house in the future. Might start liquidating stuff. It depends on where this road leads, and you know, how much my parents are willing to help out and stuff. It's you know, we'll figure it out money wise, I think. If I sell my house, so it's gonna be a big pain in the ass. It's also like, when do I sell my house? Like, should I just sell it now and in advance? Because the housing market has cooled off, but it's, you know, I could still sell my house for break even. Or if I wait until maybe we get down the road and we really need the resources, now the housing market has really cooled off and I'm selling my house for a loss. That would suck. So there's just a lot of unknowns, and hindsight's 2020. I mean, there's a million different things I would have done differently if I could do this again. Like, there's no reason this should have to be going on this long. There's no reason it should have been 4 months for steroids. There's no reason I should be. It's just slow as fuck, and my brain is just destroyed. I can't, like, things just look terrible. They look terrible. Anyway, I'm getting on an antidepressant soon, so maybe that'll help a little bit. But like, you know, it's like some of it's depression, but most of it's like pain. Just a lot of mental pain and malaise. And like, when I look at landscapes, like I'm looking out this window right now. Look at that. Let's see if I can get it. You can't see the goddamn hills. There you go. It's like beautiful landscapes like that. It's all distorted and bubbled out and looks fucking weird. My vision's all fucked up, and I just can't. I can't perceive beauty. So when people say, you know, oh, it's such a beautiful day, and it's not like I have that soul-sucking depression all the time, but I just look out and it's all distorted and ugly, like I'm tripping on some weird, gross hallucinogen, and I can't enjoy it, and that depresses the shit out of me. You know, or if I talk to people and, you know, it's a group of people and I'm talking with them, it's like, it just feels so wrong. It just makes me sad because I miss how it used to feel. I used to be super fucking outgoing and cracking jokes constantly, almost to the point of being annoying. And now it's, now I'm just like this grumpy old man. And there's flies that always seem to follow me around for some reason. I swear that's some sort of like, either a metaphor or omen. I choose to think it's a metaphor for my rotten, dying soul, but you know, it could be an omen too. I doubt it. I'm sure we'll make it out of this just fine. But you know, I'm thick in the shit in the fog and stuff, so it's hard for me to have any clarity when I'm in this much pain. It's just fucking impossible. And then I think about, you know, well, you know, even if I do get out of this, how everything's gonna look. Like psychologically, I'm totally wrecked. So that's a lot of therapy. You know, cognitively, am I gonna be the same? You know, I have a shit ton of brain fog right now. Energy-wise, you know, mood-wise, how's that gonna look? Because this whole thing has yanked my mood around like crazy, especially during the winter. And it's like, am I gonna have mood problems? Probably. Motivation problems, all that shit. You know, probably gonna end up on an SSRI. Maybe like a stimulant medication or something. Stimulant meds kind of suck the soul out of you. Anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. That's it. I'll just call it quits there. I love you guys. I fucking wish things were different, and I just wish things were different. You know, that bipolar diagnosis, that quack of a psychiatrist gave me, has fucking grounded me for life, so I can't fly planes ever again. Obviously, it's not high on my priority list, because my priority is literally just getting my life back. That'd probably be kissing the earth if I did, and I wouldn't care about being in the sky. But just another thing, just stacked on top of everything of like these doctors are just dumb as fuck. Dumb as fuck. The guy didn't ask me any questions if I had any symptoms of bipolar disorder. I didn't fill out any sort of questionnaire. Didn't do any neuropsych testing like they said they would do, which would have been great. You know, quack fucking doctors. Talking to the doctor in Cleveland Clinic, and he said, I should talk to psych. And I'm like, bitch, dude, I was already in the psych ward. I'm already on 10 milligrams of Zyprexa, an antipsychotic, for months, and it's not doing shit. What do you want me to do as far as psych goes? I'm on a benzo. I'm on an antipsychotic. Okay, I'm going to get on an antidepressant. I'm on an anti-anxiety medication. Wait, that's the benzo. I'm going in circles. I swear I'm missing one. But I'm on all of them. And my problem's not gone. So what the fuck do you want to do with me in psych? I'm already seeing a psychiatrist. I saw a psychiatrist who gave me a bunk diagnosis. What the fuck do you want me to do? You know? Got steroids in April, and that doctor didn't even want to follow up. I said, what about more steroids? He said, no. He said, what about IVIG? He said, no. I was like, okay, so we just wait and see? He said, no, we don't wait and see. You follow up with your psychiatrist. Classic. So it was like, he didn't even want to follow up with me, even though he gave me, you know, he was the one who asked my local neurologist to send in the orders for steroids. My local neurologist didn't follow up with me, and that doctor didn't want to follow up with me. So doctors fucking suck. The only good doctor I know is actually my dad. Dad's an eye doctor. Don't go digging too much, but he's a boss doctor. I've seen. I wish he were my neurologist because he would just own the shit out of it, but he's not. So I have to deal with all these dumb neurologists who think they know how the brain works. Nobody fucking knows how the brain works. You have general ideas and frameworks and stuff, but what about the people on the fringe like me, you know, who have a neurological issue, but it's not like this big rotting section on an MRI, or like they're squeezing their way to the hospital. Like, what do you do with these people? Because that's what they expect. The person in Cleveland was like, you know, people who have autoimmune encephalitis usually can't be talking to me like this. They have a family member talking. They're laying in their own drool. I'm like, that's not always the case. I know a girl who has autoimmune encephalitis, had cognitive issues, and that was not her case at all. And she was on the fringe and lucky enough to find a neurologist that would treat her very extensively. And we've only received steroids so far, and people are kind of like, we don't know if it's encephalitis. I'm like, okay, tell me what diseases are steroid responsive encephalopathy. That's got to narrow it down. Okay, it can't be every disease on the fucking planet. And it for sure isn't psych, okay? My hands went fucking numb, number one. Number two, I didn't feel like psych at all. Number three, I've been on every fucking class of psychiatric medication, and I'm not better. So it's not psych. So what encephalopathy, brain problems, respond to steroids? Narrow it down to a list. Do labs to get rid of shit out of that list. We've already done a bunch of labs, and almost nothing has popped up. So I think the best bet is autoimmune encephalitis, especially when it's both me and my brother who got it. Two people don't develop psychiatric illness on the same fucking month. Doesn't happen. And two people don't develop, you know, medical conditions at the exact same time by pure coincidence. Okay, there's external factors that triggered it. So I think there's a good case for autoimmune encephalitis. And in that case, I'm being way too negative, because we're gonna get IVIG eventually, and that should turn this ship around quite a bit. And the real problem comes in if it's autoimmune encephalitis. I get IVIG, it doesn't work, so people think it's not autoimmune encephalitis, and we go looking around for the right diagnosis for ages, and then finally end up back on a more like a second line treatment or plasma exchange for autoimmune encephalitis, and that works after like a year and a half or 2 years. You know, just saying, things don't always pan out like hunky-dory for everybody. So this could be shitty as it could be over in a couple months. Maybe it could be over in a year and a half. You know, there's no knowing. And I'm really hoping it's not the latter, because goddamn, it's so painful. All right, my dog's like scratching the door behind me. All right, that's my parents' dog in the crate. Okay, for real, I'm done. For real. Yeah, so I'm out of the stock market completely, except for my Roth IRA, which I've moved into QQQ because most of it is inherited, which is awesome. If you're a parent, you should definitely start a Roth IRA for your kid. Definitely start doing that, contributing, because you can secure their retirement, which my retirement is basically secured because of that Roth IRA. It's all in QQQM, which has lower maintenance fees, or whatever you call it. Can't think of the word, but maintenance fees. Then QQQ, less liquid. Don't know if they have options, but it's just people who are in QQQ right now don't sell because they would have to pay capital gains tax, But people who are new to the markets look at QQQM and they don't care about the liquidity because they're holding for the long term. They're going to go for that because it has lower, what the fuck it's called? It's not maintenance fees, but lower fees. Anyway, I just put it all in QQQ in my Roth IRA after having it in individual stocks for a little bit, just because I don't want to have a blind spot this young, who's living through a bull market only, and end up screwing over my Roth IRA, which basically guarantees retirement. I mean, I have 130 grand in there at an 8% annual return over 34 years, and I can start taking withdrawals at 59.5. That will net me $1.7 million. So that's dope as hell. Lucky me, I guess. I'm spoiled as shit, except for I can't even enjoy my life at all. I'd burn my IRA to the ground. I would delete my YouTube channel. I would cut off both my legs, and what else would I do? I don't know. Go do a lecture naked, just to get this to stop. I often wish like any other thing happened. Selfishly, in a very selfish way, I wish any other thing happened. I wish there was a death in the family. I could handle that better than this. I wish almost anything else happened. I'd rather lose a leg. I really would. I'd lose both legs, probably from the knee down. I would be a little bummed if I lost them from the hip down. I'm like in a wheelchair. That would suck. But from the knee down, I'd be hobbling around with a big old smile on my face all the time. I'd be the fucking legless guy. Talks about options, won't shut the fuck up. Rather lose an eye. Yeah, I don't know. And the thing is, I thought about it a lot. At one point, I thought, if I could push a button and give this to literally anybody, you're gonna see the dark shit in my soul right now. If I could push a button and give this to literally anybody, would I do it? And I said no. Like 4 months ago, I was like, I wouldn't do it. It's not fair. It's not their problem. It's my challenge to undertake, It's mine to figure out. I made advancements. We're gonna get there. It sucked for someone to start from scratch trying to figure this out. Now, if I had a button to give it to literally anybody, I would smash the ever-loving shit out of it. I'm so done. I would literally give it to somebody else like a complete degenerate asshole. I would do it. If I had a button in front of me, I'd kind of have a pit in my stomach. I go, bam, and I feel crystal clear, brain clears up, vision clears up, life is normal again. I'd drive straight to the gas station, grab like 3 Thundercocks, and I'd just pound one and just chill outside and smoke a cigarette and just love my life. I had my turn. I've had my turn. It's somebody else's problem now. But I can't do that. So you know what? You have to accept it as my own challenge. And that's shitty. It's shitty to say, but I think it's true. I don't know. I'd have to sit with that button in a room for a while and really think about it. Hopefully it just lands in some asshole, hit the button. It just lands on the biggest douche on the planet. He totally deserves it. Everyone hates him anyway, So that's a possibility. That's like half the people on this planet. So really, it's like a 50-50 chance that it lands in somebody who totally deserves it. Anyway, that's the rotten underbelly of who I am. But, everyone has their limit. Like, what's that? John McCain, John McCain is strung up with his arms up behind his head, getting beaten every day. And they would, what happened? It was like the U.S. would negotiate for his release or something, and he'd say no, because I was not the first one in here. They got to I want the other people released first because they were here for much longer than me. That kept happening, and eventually he just broke down, denounced the U.S., and was like, please get me out of here. Like, everybody has a breaking point. I feel like I'm like past my breaking point, and yet I have to keep going. I have to keep going. What am I gonna do? Stop? No, I can't just stop, if you know what I mean. I can't do that. I got Watson. What do you do with Watson? No, I couldn't do that to Watson. I couldn't do that to my brother. I couldn't do that to my parents. So what do? You just tough it out and keep going. You just keep going. Yeah, so I was more hopeful when the steroids had worked and we had more steroids coming. I figured those would also work, considering the first batch did. But when this one didn't, like these 3 days of really intense steroids didn't help anything at all. It's kind of like, just kind of took the wind out of my sails, I guess. And the wind has kind of stayed out of my sails. I have better days than others. I'm not always this negative, I promise you. But when you feel really negative, it makes you want to make a video. So here I am making a video. Wow, 30 minutes, huh? Let's see if I have any other truth bombs for you or anything stupid to say. Nope, that's about it. I think I got everything out I want to get out. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're like 1 out of 10 people that actually watch this all the way through. I guarantee this is like miserable to listen to. Unless you're like drunk, you know, hacking a dart, and you just want to watch someone else suffer and just be grateful for your life and that it's Friday and you're having a good night. That's always fun. Sometimes it is fun sometimes to watch other people suffer, not in a sick way, but in a kind of like, holy shit, I'm really glad that that's not me kind of way, you know? Oh my God. So I want you to have that feeling and really just savor that. Just savor that you're not in my shoes. Of course, everyone has their own problems, but I really don't think I'm going out on a limb. I don't think I'm stretching it when I say the amount of suffering that I've gone through for this long, 1 second, is more than most people go through. It's more than most people go through. Okay, people have normal problems. You know, they have to go to work. That sucks. Death in the family. Dog died. Get cancer. That sucks. You know, all that shit. There's a lot of things that do really blow. But this is up there as far as like pain goes. I don't know. Maybe that is out going too far because I haven't lived other people's lives. I've only lived my own. Anyway, that's it. Love you guys. Someone's knocking on the door, so I'll catch you later. Peace.